Hi folks, time for our weekly overview. I know I said that I wanted to do a video on Saturn going direct. It's not going to be a huge video, and what I have to share is not momentous. It's kind of a check-in, and I will do that in the next couple of days. And then I want to do a video on the transits that the personal planets are going to make, the aspects the personal planets are going to make as they transit through Capricorn. Venus is already in Capricorn, and so that is material that is to follow as the week continues. But it is time for the weekly overview, and it's as weeks go, it has the potential for being a lovely week. It's the week after the full moon, and so as the week continues, particularly till about Friday, I would say Friday, Saturday, it can end up being a productive week. And till tomorrow, till Tuesday at least, the aspects are those that were encoded into the full moon in Taurus, which is part of the reason why I haven't been in a huge rush to do this video. So let's just go over what's going on this week. Today is November the 18th. Mercury opposed Jupiter today, the Sun trined Neptune. Tomorrow, Mercury trines Chiron. Now, Mercury, when we looked at the full moon in Taurus, for which I did its own video, I talked about the fact that the four aspects encoded into that full moon were Mars trining the North Node, which happened on November the 17th, Mercury opposing Jupiter, Mercury trining Chiron, and the Sun trining Neptune. And all these aspects get done by tomorrow, by Tuesday, through Tuesday. And the three trines and one opposition, the two Mercury aspects, Mercury opposing Jupiter and trining Chiron, this is the first of 3 times that will occur. So whatever's going on in the Sagittarius part of the chart, because Mercury is in Sagittarius, shall we just go around and do a quick recap of where everything is at? Let's start with Aries. We've got the North Node and Chiron in Aries, Uranus in Taurus, Jupiter retrograde in Gemini, nothing right now in Cancer, Mars in Leo, and we are also in a Leo communication cycle, nothing in Virgo, the South Node in Libra, the Sun still in Scorpio, and it's still the month of Scorpio till November the 30th when we have the new moon in Sagittarius. We've got Mercury direct right now in Sagittarius. We've got Pluto in Capricorn till tomorrow. We've got Saturn and Neptune in Pisces. So that's where everything is at. So when we were talking about Mars trining the North Node yesterday, Mars in Leo, trining the North Node in Aries, we've got the Sun trining Neptune today, the 18th, Sun in Scorpio, Neptune in Pisces, and Mercury in the sign of Sagittarius opposing Jupiter and trining Chiron. And I covered these aspects in the full moon in Taurus video. So I'm feeling like covering them again because they're going to be done by tomorrow, Tuesday, is not the best use of time in this video. If you want to know more about those aspects, certainly look at the full moon in Taurus video. That was the one that I did before this. But the bottom line is, through tomorrow, especially related to the Sagittarius part of the chart, Venus went over Sagittarius from October 13th to 17th to like November the 11th or something like that, and created the opportunity for a bridge to be built. Asked her usual question, is everything here in alignment with what you value? And from the from the Sagittarius part of the chart, we're really being asked to think about whatever it is that we're doing with regard to alignment and how it's needs to take Saturn and Neptune and Pisces, in particular Saturn trying to stabilize, structure, have us act responsibly towards ourselves, towards others, responsibly, karmically, wisely in the Pisces part of the chart. Whatever's brewing in the Sagittarius part of the chart, the house occupied by Sagittarius in our chart, because these personal planets, as they go through Sagittarius, are going to square, Neptune and Saturn. And Mercury is going to square Saturn 3 times, the first of which occurred on November the 12th. Just as he's opposing Jupiter 3 times through the retrograde, and just as he is trining Chiron 3 times through this direct retrograde in the shadow period that we're currently in. So with all of that said, whatever's brewing and whatever currently is occurring in the Sagittarius part of the chart that has now taken on a mercurial component, thinking, processing, maybe even overthinking, communicating, it's underway. It's not going to be done until we're done with December, because Mercury will go direct on December the 15th, and after he is direct, as he heads towards Capricorn on January the 11th, he's going to go ahead and make his square to Saturn, opposition to Jupiter, trying to Chiron one final time close to the end of the year. So, but the bottom line is, through tomorrow, we do have an opportunity to initiate some conversations that could be helpful, constructive. And it's possible with Mercury in his shadow degrees and getting ready to go retrograde, it's possible that there's an element of confusion and overthinking and things not being entirely clear or feeling entirely clear. But Mercury is still direct and Mercury is still moving. He's not quite stationary yet. I mean, I really feel like if you want to consider Mercury being stationary, we should give it till the end of this week. Well, not till the end, till about the 22nd, I would say. Mercury goes retrograde Pacific time on November the 25th. So maybe you want to consider Mercury stationary. Let's consider him stationary starting November 22nd or thereabouts. But until the 22nd, I would actually say one of the important uses of this week is, what do you want to get out there by the 22nd? What do you want to, prior to Mercury getting ready to be stationary and going retrograde, what do you want to try and secure? Mercury retrograde will bring his own reality check, and we're going to let him do that. But what is it that you want to secure by then? What seeds do you want to plant? What do you want to get out there? What do you want to go ahead and commit to the best of your ability? What do you want to secure? And then we'll see what a retrograde Mercury brings to us. I've already done a retrograde Mercury retrograde in Sagittarius and shadow degree, Mercury in a shadow period video. So you can always just look through my list of videos and find that one. I'll place a link to that at the end of this video. So through tomorrow, there's this interesting Mars trining the North Node, Mercury trining Chiron, Mercury opposing Jupiter. This, especially with the trine to Chiron, healing, coming back into your power, using communication. Because it's a trine to Chiron and because there's an opposition to Jupiter, the stakes may feel a little bit high from the Sagittarius part of the chart. And with Chiron, such an interesting body, because the healing side of things and coming into our power side of things always carries this kind of, naturally this kind of wounded quality. It's always revisiting things or themes that prior to where we are today, we may have had a difficult time dealing with, because it touched on a loss of power or a loss of or kind of separation from ourselves and our complete and empowered selves. But, it's lovely. Mercury trining Chiron opposing Jupiter. What is it in the Sagittarius part of the chart that we're contemplating that is going to contribute to Jupiter ending a 12-13-year cycle and starting a 12-13-year cycle in Gemini? So all those energies we talked related to the full moon are still continuing through tomorrow. Now, here's where this weekly overview needs to really kick in, because we are now talking about the transits and aspects that are relevant to this week. Tomorrow, November the 19th, Pluto moves into Aquarius till 2042 or thereabouts. On the 21st, the Sun moves into Sagittarius. And on the 24th, which takes us to the end of this week, the Sun in Sagittarius trines the North Node in Aries. So we've had Mars trining the North Node yesterday from Leo. And the Sun trining the North Node on November the 24th. And of course, what this means is that next week, the week of the 25th, the sun will trine Mars. So we have this grand trine between the fire signs, between Mars, the sun, and the North Node. Lovely, you know, opportunities, thinking about where you want to go from a future perspective. Not quite here yet. We're not. When we look at the arc of the North Node in Aries, it takes us to the end of the first week of June next year. Middle to end of April of next year to the end of the first week of June. We're not there yet, but we are, because Mars is going to trine the North Node 3 times as part of his retrograde. So we're very much, some of these transits and aspects that we're dealing with are very much the first of 3 kind of quality. We're in the middle of Mercury going retrograde on Monday, week from today. Mars going retrograde December 6th. And then after Mars goes direct on February 26th and early March, Mercury goes retrograde and Venus goes retrograde, you know, in from Aries to Pisces. So we are now in that sort of birth canal phase, very much so, right in the heart of it, in the eye of the storm. We're just getting swept up in the kind of hurricane that is going to take us round and round and kind of drop us by the middle to the end of April where we need to be dropped. That doesn't mean we don't have agency. Our agency comes from releasing what we feel we need to release and what is stagnant, and developing and building the new. And as I've said to you, and this is in a video that is coming up as well, don't get too attached to the outcome. Let the North Node do its job. And it's a very specific and a peculiar energy that the North Node has. And I'll talk about that. I want to do the video on, actually, this way I'm going to might sequence it. Gosh, I need to do the video on Saturn going direct. It's very, very brief. As I said, it's not critical, but I want to get that information out there. There's the video on the personal planets transiting Capricorn. There's the video as a reminder of Mercury going retrograde next Monday. And there's this video I really want to talk about where we're at and the North Node in Aries and this arc that we're seeing till the mid to end of April to the end of the first week of June. And this idea of not getting too attached to the outcome and letting the North Node do its job. But coming back to this week, November the 19th, tomorrow, Pluto moves into Aquarius. November 21st, the sun goes into Sagittarius. On the 24th, the sun trines the North Node. On the 25th, Mercury goes retrograde in Sagittarius. So it is still a Scorpio month. We had the new moon in Scorpio on November the 1st, I think. So the new moon in Sagittarius is November the 30th. Till the 30th, certainly till the 22nd, but till the 30th, you might still be thinking about, preoccupied by, working on getting the Scorpio part of the chart in alignment with where you want to go and taking action to revitalize it, stabilize it, do the best you can towards it for now. The Sagittarius part of the chart is already hopping with these Mercury trine Chiron and Mercury opposing Jupiter, but as the week goes on, November the 21st, the sun enters Sagittarius. And Venus's transit through Sagittarius, October 13th, 17th to November the 11th. Mercury entering Sagittarius, getting ready to go retrograde, and having by tomorrow made his first set of 3 iterations of the aspects he's going to make through this retrograde by tomorrow, and then going retrograde on the 25th, processing, communicating, but getting ready to go right back and then go direct again. That process is going on. And just before Mercury goes retrograde, the sun comes in to go, all right, I am going to come in and we are going to now, in a solar way, in a complete way, just put the light onto the Sagittarius part of the chart. All the nooks and crannies illuminated. And as we head into December, that Sagittarius part of the chart is very, 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 from an annual perspective, but with the Mercury retrograde, as we look at the journey that takes us from now to the mid to end of April to the end of the first week of June, this Mercury retrograde in Sagittarius is the first key that needs to turn in order to help us transform. And this transformation is very much about us moving towards and exploring opportunities in the Aries part of the chart, in the Taurus part of the chart, working on implementing and leaning into the changes initiated by the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction on April the 20th of this year, the effects of which will be felt all the way to, again, the end of the first week of June of next year. And supporting Jupiter ending and creating a 12-13 year cycle, ending a 12-13 year cycle and initiating a more aligned to where we are at today, 12-13 year cycle in the Gemini part of the chart. At the same time, from a bigger picture perspective, we're also stabilizing the Pisces part of the chart, structuring creative, philanthropic, spiritual goals in the Pisces part of the chart, and also bringing clarity to whatever has been fuzzy, either from our perspective, others' perspectives, deception, theft, lack of clarity, gaslighting, that kind of stabilization needs to occur. And as I said, there's some sort of link between whatever's going on in the Sagittarius part of the chart, because these planets in the Sagittarius, as they transit the Sagittarius part of the chart, square Saturn and Neptune and Pisces, that, you know, from the Sagittarius part of the chart, the North Node is trined and Chiron is trined. Mercury will trine Chiron 2 more times after tomorrow. The Sun is trining the North Node on the 24th. And of course, as he moves forward, he's going to trine Chiron. So the Sagittarius part of the chart after the 21st starts hopping even more. And on the 30th of November, after Mercury goes retrograde, bam, we have the new moon. And so December really is going to be a time of action with regarding to getting the Sagittarius part of the chart, the house occupied by Sagittarius in your chart, availing of opportunities, as well as bringing it into alignment with where you want to go. Both supporting the North Node and Chiron in Aries and making decisions that help stabilize the Pisces part of the chart, supporting Saturn in the work that he's trying to do in the Pisces part of the chart. The energy of the week, as I said, is positive insofar as it's the week after the full moon, where we're ideally poised and balanced to get things done. So go for it, be productive. By the time we get to the end of this week, especially if there are things you want to do, if you want to back up technology, if there are things and forms and things you want to fill out, complete, take care, do it now over the next 3 or 4 days. Get stuff done by the 22nd. Consider getting stuff done by the 22nd that is important to you. Get the messages out. Take care of pending action items, especially if that technology or a communication component. Get it done. By the time you get to the 22nd, 23rd, especially 23rd, 24th, 25th, 26th, 27th, Mercury retrograde snafus are at their peak when Mercury's stationary, getting ready to go retrograde, getting ready to go direct December the 15th. It's conjunction with the Sun December the 5th. So we're going to, by the time we get to next weekend, not only are we going to start, not only is the moon going to start to get darker and darker next week as we head to the November 30th new moon, but Mercury's also, by the end of this week, the weekly overview of which I'm doing, is going to get ready to start going retrograde. So till the 22nd, go for it. Try to get as much done. The force is with you. Take advantage of it. And really, I mean, the only aspect outside of the ones that we covered in the full moon video that take us to tomorrow, 2 of which are trines, the Sun trining Neptune and Mercury trining Neptune. The only other aspect this week on November the 24th is the Sun trining the North Node. Lovely. Whatever it is that the Sun is bringing, whatever these trines to the North Node are going to keep developing, because Mercury's already trined the North Node, Venus is already trined the North Node, the Sun trines the North Node by the end of this week. And it could be that it takes December from the Sagittarius part of the chart, Mercury going retrograde, whatever comes up in December, for that energy to work its way through and to settle before we can really get a sense of what these trines from the sign of Sagittarius to the North Node in Aries are preparing for us. Mars trining the North Node, that energy is going to continue. We had the first one on November the 17th. We're going to have these trines to the North Node again. Where did my Mars slide go? Give me 1 second. I'm going to get a little cheesed off if I don't find it easily or quickly. Thanks for your patience. Sorry. January 2nd and April the 8th. So, and the January 2nd one is also from Leo to Aries. Still getting worked out. So let it develop. Enjoy the trines. If opportunities come up, if there's something that you need to apply for, if there's something, just go for it. It's really, as far as the aspects are concerned, Mercury opposing Jupiter today, Sun trining Neptune, Mercury trining Chiron tomorrow, Sun trining North Node on the 24th. It being the week after the new full moon. Wonderful. Enjoy the week. By the 22nd, try to get as much wrapped up as possible. On the 25th, Mercury goes retrograde. I've already covered that in a video. I'll do a refresher as we head towards it. Now, Pluto goes into Aquarius tomorrow. Whatever Pluto has done for you in the Capricorn part of your chart since 2008, understand it. As Pluto gets ready to go, you might get your own downloads about what it is in alignment with this transformation you still have to complete. Move towards completing it. Do not go backwards after Pluto has transformed something for you. If Pluto's been going over your 6th house, as it has been for me, and you feel like, oh, I've still got to incorporate this, and I've still got to incorporate this from a self-care perspective or a work transforming perspective, do it. Make a list of what is pending and follow through on it. You don't have to follow through on it tomorrow, but as the days and the weeks continue, follow through on it. What you don't want to do after Pluto has transformed a certain part of the chart is to go back in the opposite direction and not follow through on pending items. Because that, I don't think will have a positive outcome. So if, for example, in my case, there are changes I want to make because Pluto has gone through my 6th house, and I'll focus on the health side of things. If there's still some diet changes that I know I need to make, and I really feel like somewhere, as Pluto's getting ready to leave, I'm feeling like, okay, this is what has been done, but this is what is still pending. This is what I need to do. I think it behooves me, because they're healthy changes, and Pluto has been transforming my relationship with my self-care since 2008. I know what I need to do next in order to finish that, what I need to follow through on. It's not a lot. It's about 4 or 5 pending items. Because it's the 6th house, they need to be made into habits. They need to be incorporated. If I don't, I'll just use myself as an example, I don't think things will go well. So if Pluto has gone over your 1st house, 2nd house, or thank Pluto for the transformation, ideally and typically for our benefit since 2008. Make a note as Pluto is leaving and entering into Aquarius, what needs to be done, and follow through on it over the next few weeks. Incorporate it. See Pluto out, see Pluto through. Pluto coming into Aquarius, as a friendly reminder, Pluto was in Aquarius briefly in 2023. Pluto spent much of 2024 in Aquarius. But the time period when this was felt most keenly was between January 20th and February 20th of this year. And indeed, for the rest of the year, Pluto is going to be hovering around those degrees. And on December the 7th, Venus will conjunct Pluto in Aquarius. Venus last conjuncted Pluto in Aquarius at around the same degree on February the 17th or thereabouts. That week of February, where we had Mars conjuncting Pluto on February the 14th, Venus conjuncting Pluto on February the 17th, think back to it and see what it is that Pluto, whenever Pluto enters a sign, he does have a tendency to kick the door open. it may not make sense for you what that transformation started for you in the Aquarius part of your chart yet. But you might be able to identify the event, the whatever that starts that process for you. And the transformation will build from there through 2042. And Venus is going to conjunct Pluto several times through 2042. But there's one Venus-Pluto cycle that has been completed from February the 17th as you head towards December the 7th. Worth it to contemplate. Worth it to contemplate. If we're going to contemplate anything this week, I would contemplate what has Pluto transformed in the house occupied by Capricorn in my chart since 2008. How has Pluto worked to empower me, to make me more authentic? How has Pluto put me in touch with what is for me and what is not for me in this part of the chart? And what is pending for me to be able to complete and celebrate Pluto's transformation, the Capricorn part of the chart. At the same time, also reflect on, in these dips that Pluto has made into Aquarius in 23 and 24, and now after November 19th, Pluto enters Aquarius more completely, more decisively, without looking back into Capricorn. What has happened that signals the transformation in the direction of my benefit in the Aquarius part of the chart? So you just carry that awareness with you. Because as you head into early December, the theme is going to get triggered again. You know, we go through this cycle where the personal planets, the Sun, Mercury, Venus, Mars, go through a process of conjuncting, squaring, trining, opposing, trining, squaring, conjuncting the slow-moving planets. And with this Venus-Pluto conjunction season starts. And it's going to become more and more and more intense as we get to February and March, when Venus and Mercury go retrograde. And they're in this place where they are in communication with Saturn and Neptune and the North Node and Chiron, but especially Saturn and Neptune and the North Node so intensely in February, March, and April of next year. And something is kind of starting up now. So even with these Sagittarius transits and the squares that Mercury is going to make to Saturn and then to Neptune, and the Sun is going to get ready to make to Saturn. You know, these are the last of the aspects that these planets are going to make to Saturn and to Neptune. And the next thing they're going to be doing with Venus and the Mercury and the Sun is conjuncting Saturn and Neptune. And in some cases, making those conjunctions 3 times with Venus and Mercury going retrograde by the time we get to February, March, April. So something could be demanding attention, so that by the time we get to February, March, April, we might either see the results of it, or we might close out a cycle, or we might initiate a cycle. To some of you, this might make some sort of instinctive sense. So as we head towards tomorrow, I'm doing this, the week that I'm looking at is November 18th to November 25th. As we head towards tomorrow, between today and tomorrow, Mercury opposes Jupiter, Sun trine Neptune, Mercury trine Chiron. All of these covered in the full moon in Taurus video in greater detail. But bottom line, through tomorrow, as much as you may be living in a certain amount of overthinking, overprocessing, maybe even a certain amount of anxiety, you know, because when we're looking at Mercury where he is on the heels of his square to Saturn, we may be very, very aware with Venus having gone through Sag and Mercury now in Sag, we might be very, very aware of the sensitivity around bringing the Sagittarius part of the chart into alignment and building the bridges that we want to build in the Sagittarius part of the chart, and the sensitivity related to stabilizing the Pisces part of the chart. It may be a little uneasy, but Mercury is trining Chiron and providing some healing and some empowerment, opposing Jupiter. Change, the sun is trining Neptune and Pisces. So, you know, trust your instincts. Lean into self-preservation where you need to, but also trust that maybe some of the explorations and some of the communications are leading to a certain amount of bridge building as well. As the week continues, tomorrow Pluto enters Aquarius. Reflect on what else needs to be done still in the Capricorn part of the chart to finish up Pluto's transformation since 2008. And move towards it. Do not move in the opposite direction. Reflect on January 20th to February 20th of this year, when the Sun and Pluto moved hand in hand into Aquarius. Pluto spent a lot of 2024 in Aquarius. But during that time, Mercury, Mars, Venus all conjuncted Pluto in the very first degree of Aquarius. Venus is getting ready to make a similar conjunction on December 7th. So think about what in 23-24 Pluto has done in the Aquarius part of the chart. The transformation is already made. And while you're not, it's not going to be clear to you what this transformation in the Aquarius part of the chart is going to look like. Reflect on what could work to your highest benefit as part of this transformation. The Sun enters Sagittarius on November the 21st, illuminating, trying to bring clarity, which is a strange thing for the Sun to do while Mercury is going to be retrograde in Sagittarius. But a certain kind of clarity, visibility, nooks and crannies. On December the 5th, the Sun and Mercury retrograde will conjunct in Sagittarius, initiating a communication cycle of Sagittarius that's going to last through March. But the Sun enters Sagittarius, and the focus on the Sagittarius part of the chart becomes more intense, preparing us for the new moon on November the 30th. On November the 24th, the Sun trines the North Node. There could be an awareness of how whatever's going on in the Sagittarius part of the chart could help lead us in the direction that we're trying to go and figure out with the Aries North Node. And then on Monday, Mercury goes retrograde in Sagittarius, saying, hold up. First and foremost, I need to give you a reality check. Secondly, people who have Mercury retrograde in your birth chart, it's time to make some decisions. Thirdly, whatever's been going on in the Sagittarius part of the chart needs to be, we need to deliberate. The Sun is there. Now, for those of you, if you have Mercury direct in your birth chart, if you're thinking that you're going to jump on something in the Sagittarius part of the chart while Mercury is retrograde, it could be that things come up, but you don't make decisions around them. This is for people who have Mercury direct in their birth chart till after December 17th, 18th, 19th. The Sagittarius month will continue till December the 30th, when we have the new moon in Capricorn, and the Sun will continue to be in Sagittarius till about December the 22nd. And Mercury remains in Sagittarius till about January the 11th. So Sagittarius season is going to continue till about January the 11th. Right now, we're still in the Scorpio month. So somewhere bringing the Scorpio part of your chart into alignment, taking actions to help stabilize it, could still till the end of November be part of what you're trying to do. This is a weekly overview. It has a very distinct tone to it. It's not contemplating, different videos have different focuses. This is going through the different aspects and trying to get you a sense of the week. Broad energy, week after the full moon, and more specifically trying to tune you to these aspects and transits. I'm trying to just identify something or look at something here. Venus has already squared the North Node from Capricorn, November 14th. We've already covered that energy. I'm just trying to see what's going on in the Capricorn part of the chart. The next thing that Venus is going to do is that she's going to get ready to trine Uranus. And I don't think that's going to happen until early December, so we're fine. I mean, that's lovely. But we'll get to Venus next week. This week, there's a lot going on from the Sagittarius part of the chart. Mercury opposing Jupiter today. Mercury trining Chiron tomorrow. The Sun trining the North Node on November the 24th. The Sun entering Saturn the 21st. We've got Pluto going blah, blah, blah. I'm going to stop. We've covered this week. All right. Thank you to everyone who availed of the special that I was running, the sort of $100 regular reading thing. The list is full. We're done with that. You can still reach out to me regarding rates and information for readings using the email address in my description box below. Feel free to comment on this video, like the video if you feel inclined to do. It gives it more circulation on YouTube, so that becomes an easy way to kind of contribute to the channel. Just sort of liking and or commenting if you feel inclined to. I'm not saying that, make something up ridiculously or something like that. Subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't already. Next to the subscribe button, bell icon. If you hover over the bell icon, on top is a wiggly bell. Click on that. You'll be notified when I do new videos. There's a thanks button underneath this video. You can use that to contribute to the channel. And we will leave it at that. I think I would like to get the Saturn going. Saturn went direct on November the 15th. As I said, if I was feeling a really compelling need to get that video out, I would have. It's an energetic thing that I just want to focus on and remind you all on. It's not going to be a lengthy video. I think that's what I want to do next. And then I'll see between prepping for Mercury retrograde and this. I actually think the video I really want to do next is to talk about this North Node and what I mean by don't get too attached to the outcome, because we really are, with the Mercury retrograde in Sagittarius, Mars getting ready to go retrograde in Leo, we really are in that phase of 3 steps forward, 2 steps back, 3 steps forward, 2 steps back, 3 steps forward, 2 steps back, all the way to the middle to the end of April. And it is a transformation month. For myself, for others, November is a transformation month. More action, energy, progress, developments in November than in a long time, I think, for a number of people. But it's not, there's still an arc that we're getting to towards the middle to the end of April, to the end of the first week of June. Okay, I will leave it at that. Thank you very much, everyone. I will be back soon. Take care.